Welcome to the Gina Pero Show, living life full out, brought to you by the Premier Dance Network. I will be sharing stories that create connection to and from the human heart. Stories from young children, friends, and family, and some of the top performing artists around the world. Each episode brings to life the obstacles, achievements, fears, successes, glories, and faith that each one faces, and how they have arrived right where they are today. You will feel inspired and motivated to live your dreams. You will feel rejuvenated each week as I take you through conversations with individuals that are living life full out right now. I will share their teachable moments with you, and I will give you the opportunity to ask as many questions as you possibly can. Are you ready? Well, here it is. It's showtime, everybody. 5, 6, 7, 8. Hi everyone, this is Gina Pero with Living Life Full Out, and today I thought I'd invite my friend Lacey over to interview me about why I'm doing this, who I am, and give you an idea of how this show is going to get going. So Lacey, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. This is weird to be on the other side, to be interviewed, because as you know, I do podcasting as well, and so I'm often the one interviewing. So thanks for trusting me to come into your show today. I know that your audience is very important to you. I know that this project is very important to you. So thank you. Are you ready to get started?
Thank you.
Are you scared?
Not scared.
Good. Okay.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. This podcast that you're doing, Living Life Full Out, I think is going to be something really different and something cool for the people that are going to be listening to you. I've listened to millions of podcasts. I've produced hundreds of podcasts. I host my own, and I have to say I've never met anybody like you. And so I'm really excited to have the chance to tell a little bit about your background, about how we met, about what people can expect from this show, because I think it's important to tell your audience that. And then maybe, end on some fun notes and tips, and maybe I'll turn the camera on you a little bit, or the audio mic on you, and do what you do to your guests. So as we get started, Gina, I think it's important for people to know even how we know each other, right? You and I only met maybe 6 months ago, 10 months ago, 8 months ago. It's not even a year ago. And we met because you were referred to me as a talent coach, life coach for the youth. My daughter being 16, I was in desperate need of finding somebody who understood what she goes through daily as a dancer, as a young dancer and performer. I was also looking for somebody to help her boost confidence, to set boundaries, to really work on how to communicate better with everyone around her. And you were the one that came up through several attempts through friends to do that. So thank you for coming into our life. And when we met, I was most interested when I learned that you have lived your life as this amazing world performer. You're a choreographer, you've performed, you've been a Rockette. Can you tell me a little bit about that story and just kind of your life from wherever you want to begin, and tell us kind of how you evolved in that world of performing and being a dancer?
I started dancing when I was 4. My parents enrolled me because they thought I was shy. And the minute I hit the stage, it was amazing. I just knew I loved the stage. As I got older, I saw an article in Dance Spirit magazine, and it was from a local young girl who had gone to New York and lived her dreams as a dancer. And that was the first time, coming from a small town, Batavia, New York, you don't hear many stories or see many people going to do that. And this was the first moment I had as a young girl going, wow, this is a local girl coming from a small town that is doing it, so can I. And that actually led me to continuing to pursue it and pursue it and pursue it, along with other people sharing with my mom who didn't really know much about dance. They would just share with her my talent, my passion, the gifts that I had. And that led my mom then to bringing me to a small studio in Batavia, to then driving 45 minutes to taking me to a bigger school, an amazing school called David D. Marie. And then again, we transferred to another local dance studio, to where I was just exposed to many choreographers from New York.
So your dream, the spark hit you. You saw that the dream was possible, and your mom obviously saw that there was nothing stopping you. So she, of course, did what every parent wants to do and went out of her way to make whatever she could do possible for your life and your dream.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So when you as a young child were going through this dancing process and you were learning and you were becoming inspired and you realized like, this is kind of the real deal for me. I'm not giving up. Can you tell me about some challenges that you went through in that process? I know that scoliosis was a big part of your life. Can you tell me a little bit about that as well?
Looking in the mirror back in the day when dancers had to wear leotard and tights, hair pulled back, I noticed there was an indent in the right side of my body. And so I went home, told my mom, hey, I think something's wrong with me. Sure enough, we went to the doctor and I had a 17 upper and a 36 lower curve. So they braced me right away because it was already at the point where bracing and surgery were kind of equal.
Got it.
They could have either braced or said, hey, let's do surgery. So they braced me right away. 16 hours a day, I wore a back brace.
Wow.
And the only time I could take it off was dance. So dance becoming a dream then became my freedom in medicine.
I see that. Yeah.
So it became my healing art. So without it, I would have not been able to survive.
Wow. Did you at any given time try to give up, think you were going to give up, or did it fuel you even more?
It was a little bit of both. I really struggled in my room. I became very isolated as a kid. So instead of dealing with my emotions, I suppressed them, and dance was my self-expression. So that kind of became my release. However, I had a lot of pain inside that I would journal about and I would go through. There were nights when I would take my brace and like throw it against my closet door. I suffered from, body image. I didn't want anybody to, look at me, especially from the backside. And I remember being 16 and I could not balance on 2 feet in a releve. So those dancers out there, you know what that is. And Lacey, you do, being a former dancer too. And I thought everyone at 16 is able to balance in second position on 2 feet, and I couldn't. And that for me was the moment I left my school for 3 weeks and I never wanted to go back.
Okay.
And my dance teacher called me. Well, my parents held me accountable. If you want to quit, then you have to make the phone call.
Got it.
And I said, I have to make the phone call? Yes, if you want to quit dance, you have to make the phone call. So I learned accountability at a young age. And when I called my dance teacher, Miss Lisa, at 16 on the phone saying I was going to quit, it definitely turned out in a different way. She actually empowered me. She said, Gina, I believe in you. I know that you have a gift from God and you have this desire inside you. Let me help you. That transformed my life. So the next day I went in, and during our balance section and warm up, she actually stood behind me. So I didn't feel insecure.
Wow. Life-changing. A life-changing moment.
Changing moment for me.
This is probably one of the most interesting things about you that I find. I mean, you're a very interesting person. You're a Rockette, which we'll get into in a little bit. You did what I wanted to do with my life, which was, danced all over the world. But when I learned this about you, which was many months after we first met even, and I learned that this was a struggle that you not only went through and overcame, but you did it at such a young age. I immediately, looked back at my life and saw the moment when I wanted to quit and wished and had a pain in my heart. Even now when I speak of it, I feel it. Wish that there was someone like that when I was ready to quit, when I said I wanted to quit, that would have reached their hand out and said, no, you're not ready to quit. You're too talented. You're this. I'll believe in you. So what a powerful moment. And what I love is that I've seen you now turn that into, and I believe your coaching began at that moment. I mean, I know that I've seen you now turn that into your purpose and passion with anybody that you work with. You're that person for many people. May not be that they're dancers, may not be that they're doing any similar career, but I've seen it, witnessed it in person in a very short amount of time, that you are now paying it forward on a daily basis with that positivity and with that being that spark in everybody's life around you. So thank you for doing that. And what an incredible story.
Thank you.
So, okay, so you had scoliosis. That sucks. You went through it. You overcame it. You obviously overcame it. Talk to me about what happens next. You're 16 years old, which is a pivotal moment in a dancer's life. You either quit or you get on board and you go forward. That's it. I mean, that is a pivotal time in every dancer's life. 18, some of them will make it too, and then that becomes that time. But I feel 16 is probably one of the key times that you have to decide what the heck you're going to do with this talent, or if it's just going to be something you do for fun. So what happened?
After that, I went all in.
You had somebody believing in you, right?
Yep.
So you had no choice.
Yeah. And without a team, for me, nothing is possible. I mean, the team of people in my life, family, teachers, now you, I mean, it's like this journey is about teamwork. And I finished dancing at this dancing school, and then college was next. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Hence, which is why I do college programs now for coaching. So I'm, about 18 years old, and my mom's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I love psychology, sociology. That's what I want to do. And she's like, well, are you going to decide? I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know what I want to do. My ballet teacher from the same dancing school infused my parents with information that it was possible for me to major in dance. This was 1998, going into, 99. So at that time, dancing in college as a major, it wasn't very well known. It wasn't very well known. And my parents were a little hesitant because they didn't know dance. They didn't know the possibilities, and they sure as heck didn't know the possibilities.
They didn't foresee a career with that, which is what every parent at that age does. Can you make money doing this?
Yes.
Can you actually make a career, or am I going to be paying your bills for the rest of your life? Right.
Yeah. So again, I had a team member bring my parents and I to the University of Buffalo, sit us down, and we met with the director. Sure enough, they had a spot open. This was very late, by the way, in the application process.
So it was meant to be.
Meant to be. I got a scholarship.
Wow.
And I majored in dance.
How long did you complete your degree?
I did.
So full 4 years.
Full 4 years.
Full college. So it wasn't until you went through learning everything you could about dance, learning about everything that you needed to do about life, business, all of that. You went through the full college program before you decided to actually move to New York and follow your dream. So many people we see do it in reverse, right? They're so eager to get out there. They have to go to New York. They know they're going to be big. They know they have to be on Broadway, and they feel like their time is ticking at 17, 18, 19 years old. They don't give college a chance. I probably would have been one of them, to be honest with you. They don't give real life a chance or anything that could be non-dance related or non-performing related. So what an interesting twist that came into your life and gave you the opportunity to do both at the same time at college. What a gift.
It was such a gift. I not only learned how to enhance my dancing skills in every genre of dance, I was able to create and learn a foundation, learning the history of dance, where it came from, what it was about, who am I as a dancer, what is my signature, and again, build a team of mentors and teachers that will be with me long term, that I can rely on, count on, look to, call upon in time of need in this industry. And the intellectual mind needs that stimulation. Studying the brain and nervous system now for the past, 5 years, college gave me that educational background that has led me to be who I am today.
And a real foundation too, I think.
Absolutely.
I also think that I love hearing in your life, even from a young age, that it is a recurring message that you need to have mentors and people around you and a team, like you say, that you can lean on, not only when you need them, but when you don't, that are going to be there reminding you that this is who you are, this is who you said you wanted to be, and this is the goals that you've set forth, and we're going to hold you accountable. I love that, and I can't wait to see how that's played out as we talk more about your life, because I know you today, and so hearing that this started with you at such a young age, now it makes sense. It makes perfect sense to me as to why you are so grounded, why you do, it feels as if you are one single woman standing in the middle of this massive glacier foundation underneath you that nobody can penetrate. And I think that it's a really strong message for anybody listening who feels like they're failing or, flying in the wind on their own, that sometimes all it takes is adding one person at a time to your network or your team or to your base that can keep you and hold you down. So,
and college gave me a structure to fail, a structure to deal with my emotions. So my emotional well-being was also growing in those 4 years, from 18 to 22, your brain changes constantly. It gave my emotional well-being an opportunity to grow in a safe space where if I fell, I had one of my professors catching me.
That's
or
great.
If I didn't know how to handle anxiety. I had anxiety in college. I was just nervous. Am I going to make it? What am I going to do? Oh my gosh, we have a term paper tomorrow and we have a dance concert. Right. And it gave me a safe space for 4 years to learn how to handle my emotional well-being.
Wow. Do you feel that that's played into that 4-year time, has played into how you now relate to others when you see that maybe they didn't have that opportunity? And are you able to immediately recognize when you, say, meet someone like me or a young person or even just someone on the street, if they're open enough with you, at what stage in that process they are because you were able to go through it in such an amazing way?
Mm-hmm. I know from the experiences I've had, I'm able to see people for where they are and who they are in that moment. And when I'm teaching, when I'm coaching, when I'm living in my everyday life around the world, I really like to study the way people handle things. How do people handle success? How do they handle failure? How do they handle a phone call that may be bad news? How do they handle getting rejected at an audition? Because that tells me exactly where they are. That's the truth of where they are in their life.
That's really powerful. Okay, let's get off the heavy stuff and move on to, let's talk about New York.
Okay.
So you finish at college, right? And you decide that that's the next step for you, right?
Well, I auditioned in New York. I just didn't like New York.
Oh, gotcha.
So I decided, I don't know where I want to go, but I know I was making callbacks as a senior in college. So I had the confidence booster to know I was able to make it.
Got it.
You know, you go to New York, I was auditioning for Fosse at the time and Cats and making it all the way through to sing. Mm-hmm. And so that was a confidence booster that said, okay, Gina, you got what it takes.
Yeah.
I came to Vegas with my dance teacher and assisted her. And here we saw a show called Storm. Mm-hmm. And I fell in love with the show. It was sassy, sexy, tap, jazz, every genre of style. It was Gina Pero. And they were auditioning. I flew to Vegas. Well, my parents flew me to Vegas. Thank you. And I auditioned and made it all the way to the end. And when I was graduating, I called the casting director. I mean, who calls the casting director?
You do.
I do. Hey, do you want me? I want to be in this show. And he said, Gina, we've just hired somebody. However, you're next to get in. So I said to my parents, I'm moving to Vegas.
Okay.
And just so happens, life was in flow. A friend was here who I knew before. Hey, Gina, come live with us for a while. So as soon as I graduated, 2 days later, I'm on a plane.
Wow.
Boom,
Wasting
to Vegas.
no time, right?
Wasting no time.
What I love this. You didn't want to get comfortable again and then maybe not make that decision. You were ready to go.
Yeah.
Time to live life.
Time is the only thing that doesn't wait for us.
That's true.
So get on with it.
Get on the plane. Get on the plane, girl.
Get on the plane.
So it's funny. I don't think I realized that you started in Vegas and then went to New York. Because all I know is, Gina Pero, former Rockette, New York City. And, all these pictures I've seen of you and the website that we've created and all these crazy things that I had no idea.
Yep.
No clue. That's awesome.
So I moved here and 2 weeks later, the show of my dream at the time closed.
Good times. Well, for those of you listening, that happens a lot in Las Vegas, as it does Broadway. So, you go with the punches and you roll with that things are not permanent when it comes to the show business world.
And again, you're faced with a choice. Do I stay in Las Vegas or do I go to New York?
Right.
And at the time, I had a lot of people telling me, don't go to Las Vegas. It's not going to be good for you. You're so talented. Why are you in Las Vegas? And that led me to also start to think a little bit, am I making the wrong decision?
Sure.
And at the time, and in my life, faith has always been a big, big component of my daily routine and living. So I said, well, God brought me here by this show, and I'm here. So I'm going to make do. At the time, having $1,500 in your bank account and a pair of LaDuca heels, you go, clearly I'm staying.
Yeah.
So I auditioned for a show. It was called Airplay in the middle of a casino, and I booked it.
Great.
And I said, I'm doing my career. I'm starting my journey. $750 a week. Boom.
That's money in the bank, baby.
and a start.
Yeah.
A start in the professional industry. My foot was in the door. I was all in. And from there, meeting people, other shows, everything. But here's the aha. I walked into rehearsal and every woman who had been in Storm was now in the cast of Airplay.
So clearly you were kind of still in the Storm show, but you were doing it under a different name.
Absolutely.
That's great. So at some point, how long did you stay in Vegas? And would you say that you agreed at some point in time with all the people that were questioning you? Why were you in Vegas? Being a Vegas sort of native, been here since I was young. I always I've always struggled with people thinking that Vegas is a second rate, this and that there's no real talent here, that people go there to die, that shows go there to just, play out. But the reality is I think maybe at the time that you were doing this, it may have been that way, but it's become something so much more now. But at any point in that time in your journey, the early journey in Las Vegas, did you find yourself outgrowing Vegas, feeling something drawing you elsewhere, feeling like there wasn't as much offering for you here? And is that what maybe made you try to step outside of this 702 zip code?
I loved it right away because I was working. I was getting paid to do what I loved, which at the time going into college, that was my parents' fear.
Right.
So I did it.
Yeah, you proved everybody wrong.
Mom and Dad, I am living my dream, doing what I love, making a paycheck. I'm ecstatic. I was elated. Just, oh my gosh. And from there, what happened was I was introduced to modeling and commercial work and all of these other things I didn't know I was able to do. So my skills were enhanced in Vegas. The other side of Vegas that I loved was I started to learn how to be an entrepreneur. I started to learn how to be my own business, that I am the CEO of my life. So negotiating, submissions, auditioning, I was learning all these skills that are, if not, more important than your talent.
Yep.
Because now you are your own business.
And it's up to you, right? Fail or not, it's up to you.
It is up to you to show up, sell yourself, serve people with your talent and gift. It's not just, I can extend my leg up to my ear. It's, are you accountable? Do you show up on time? Are you respectful? Can you learn choreography fast? Do you know how to speak to people? Do you know how to negotiate your contract? Do you know how to read your contract?
Yep.
And so Vegas opened up and expanded my vision of what I thought was possible for me.
Great.
And then after 5 years, I booked a job with Cirque du Soleil as a freelance artist. So I was interviewed to co-direct and come in to choreograph a runway show with Krista Monson, and she'll be on the show later on. And that opened my eyes to more of my skills. I was now choreographing, co-directing, and working with this massive production and this amazing, brilliant artistic director at the time, Krista Monson, and Krista Wells. So I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And then something sparked inside me that said, it's time to go to New York.
Like maybe you were ready. You didn't like it initially, but maybe you could handle it,
I just wanted to dance again. I missed just taking class and dancing. Okay, I was working, I was making money. There was something my soul just spoke to me about. And so I called my friend Jason and I said, hey, I want to come to New York. Went for a week. There was an agency call. I went in, 700, 800 people in New York. I am like, I'm making this. I am making this audition. And I said, if they call me and they bring me into their agency, I'm going.
And you're moving.
I'm moving.
Yeah.
4 days later, I get a phone call and I just say, great, I'll be in New York in 2 weeks.
And that's it.
That was it. Packed up my stuff, threw it in storage, 2 suitcases, off to New York City.
Here's what I love about your story thus far. And I know a little bit about it, but I think there's just there's so many lessons and kind of resonating things that continue to appear throughout your life. You build a great team that supports you, but you also had to overcome fear and never look back. It feels to me, and it's a recurring message throughout your life, that you don't ever let fear stop you from making a choice. It almost feels like if there is fear involved, then you're going for it. If you feel an ounce of fear, that you jump over the fear and you move on. Would you say that that's accurate, or is this just you're just some ballsy bitch and I didn't even know what's going on? Like, what's going on here?
I love being challenged. And I love when someone tells me I can't. I get empowered from people almost offering a perspective that it's not possible. I kind of jump on the other train. I'm like, cool. Watch. But here's the other thing. My favorite transportation is faith. A leap of faith, is literally my favorite transportation, and it's free. So as an artist, you're like, how am I going to get from point A to point B? Because I'm not really making that much money just yet. Well, you got to dig deep. And that trust and that knowingness and listening to my passion is what led me there. I loved dance so much. I loved performing. I loved everything about it. It transformed my life, healing my spine, and it transformed my life by me learning that presence can be such a gift for other people.
No, that's really powerful. Another thing that I hear you saying that I'm inspired by is that you've never, so many of us love things as a child, love doing that. Like for me, it's dance as well. But say for me, it could be woodworking. I don't know. Love doing things as a child. And, there's all those online surveys and quizzes of, find the thing that you love and that's what you're supposed to be doing for a living, that are sometimes true. But a lot of people, I think, let go of the things that really do light them up because they think they shouldn't be spending their time on that. They shouldn't be wasting their time on that. The one thing that you've never done is allow your love for dance to go away. Even when you said you miss dancing, I've heard you say that this last year. I just miss performing. I need to perform. I wish more people in this world, and maybe through listening to this podcast, they'll be inspired to do so. But I wish more people through this world would not be so afraid to hang on to or keep the things that light them up close, regardless of what anyone around them says, and regardless of society's viewpoint. If it's fun and cool for you to play with trucks and make toys, then find a way to integrate that into your life, whether it be one day a week or one day a month or one day a year. It doesn't matter, because when you do, I feel that it opens your mind and spirit and body up to so much more. So to receiving more as well. So you're in New York doing the craziest thing ever, which is so many little girls' dreams. But I love that you did it, and you did it, to your point, on a leap of faith, and because you were just following that gut instinct.
Yeah, someone just asked me this question, what led you went to New York to live your dream, didn't you, Gina? And I said, no, I didn't go to New York to live my dream, because when I got to New York, I really didn't know what my dream was. I just knew I wanted to dance.
Right.
I didn't have a goal.
Right.
I went to New York because I was led there. Something inside me told me it was time, and the agent calling me, letting me know that, hey, we want to take you, was almost like God, divine, whatever you want to call it, message. You need to be in New York right now. And I just listened and followed that. That is really my way of living, is really listening to the call inside myself that says go.
Yep.
And I go.
And so many of us ignore that.
And I wanted to know if I was capable of making it. There was something inside me that, as a dancer, needed to know that I was capable.
Well, you proved it.
I did.
So talk to me, and I don't want to spend too much time on the Rockettes, but it is a famed thing.
Absolutely.
And a very big part of your life, yes. I know. Tell me about the experience of becoming a Rockette. I know you auditioned, and we all know, if you're in the dance community, what a rigorous audition process that is, and how absolutely on point you have to be from a height standpoint, to a leg length standpoint, to a weight standpoint, to the way of living. But talk to me briefly just about your experience as a Rockette. 3 years, right?
3 years I toured with the Rockettes.
So was that experience something that I know you're grateful for everything in your life, so I won't say you're not grateful for it, but is it an experience that you felt you took life lessons from? And if so, share that with me.
Every year was different. First year, I was in my hometown performing. So the theme and the lesson was all about family, friendship, giving back to the community what they gave to me.
That's wonderful.
That was my first year lesson. Second year lesson, I was knocked out backstage. That story will come later. Brain injury, spinal injury. Lesson.
Scary.
Scary. That lesson was, I learned what I really wanted and who I really was, and that I really was living this masked life. I was living under this impression and identity of fame, fortune, mascara, eyelashes, lipstick. I was not being true to who I was. I would have sacrificed who I was just to be in the kick line.
Yep.
Third year, lesson was, I need more purpose in my life. I hired a heart doctor and a health coach my third year to see what my performance would be like adding these other elements to it. My goal for my third season, because I was a third season Rockette, same spot. So I was able to add in some more elements, because if I'm not learning as I'm dancing, I'm dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much. Yep. I have to be intellectually stimulated. So I thought, okay, third season, I'm going to add some elements and learn as I go and track myself and track my performance, and then add that maybe into later on teaching or something like that.
Wonderful.
So my third year was more research and data intake for me. And it was an amazing journey, actually shifting my eating and my liquid intake, and committing to it, which was difficult. And then also learning about the heart muscle and how to increase my heart muscle strength and endurance.
All lessons that I know you now use on a daily basis. So
daily basis.
Transformational year for you. And when you decide to, and I don't know how you left the Rockettes, and I don't even think it really matters. So, but when your departure from the Rockettes becomes, this is happening, this is what I'm going through. Did you experience all those feelings of doubt, fear? What am I going to do next? I mean, this is the top of the top for some people, right? You're a New York City Rockette. You are Kickline. You are doing what many millions of girls in the world wish that they could do. I know for me personally, when I left a very large career in marketing at a very, very prominent company, I was lost, and it took me years to decide what to do next, because I didn't think there was anywhere else to go but down. Did you feel that?
I didn't get hired my fourth season.
Gotcha.
And I remember sitting on my windowsill like the world was over.
I've been there, so I know that feeling. Yes.
And in that moment, I realized I was relying on something outside of myself to fulfill my happiness. And as I sat there, my phone rang, and it was my father. And he said, I can feel your sadness. I can feel that you think you are worth nothing. And I said, Dad, this is one of the worst feelings I've ever felt. And he said, well, I know Gina Pero. And I know that she's going to get her little towel in the shower and get out and go after it and go all in. And I said, you got it. So I went to yoga that day, and I got a phone call right after yoga class. It was my friend from Italy. I'm in New York. Let's meet for lunch. Met for lunch. And in that lunch, she says, I really would love for you to come and inspire my students in Italy and teach. Granted, I was... Before that fourth season I would have been in, I had committed to getting my coaching certification and also a certification in Simonson technique, which is a dance technique.
Yes.
So as I'm meeting her in August, I'm graduating from both certifications.
Wow. In
September. Something again inside me, that feeling, said, this is it. What a turnaround. Sitting on my windowsill, going, I don't know what happiness is, to going, a phone call from my father, going to yoga.
Yeah.
And then
you let it out.
This phone call coming in, and just a conversation that led to, I see God's plan.
Yeah. It feels like, you're just like every other human. You go through moments to where your vision is cloudy. We've talked offline about your experience during some of your jobs, one being the Rockettes, and even your time in Las Vegas, where you don't feel like you're even being authentic to yourself. You're doing things to your body, you're doing things to your mind, your heart, your soul that you could never even imagine doing now. And even looking back, you can look at photos and say, look at me, I can see it in my skin and in my face and all of those things. But it feels to me like, knowing all of that about you, that you know when to seize opportunity, you know when to see opportunity, and you know when to seize opportunity. And it's not just opportunity, but it's almost as if you have this ability to see through and cut through the clouds that cloud up everyone's vision even if it's a silver line that you're looking through, even if it's the smallest of pinholes, and see exactly what's on the other side of that cloud, and then bust through that and roll and blow the smoke out of the way and keep rolling. That's really inspiring to me. And that's actually what I love, I think, the most about you, is that no matter what's happening, no matter up, down, left, or right, especially throughout your life and now learning more about your story, that seems to be one of the strongest things that you carry with you, is your ability to see through the fog, or see around the fog, or whatever you want to think, and bust through it and keep on moving. You're a survivor. You're a survivor. I've been called that myself, and I never really would have labeled myself that, but now kind of seeing your story and understanding what you've been through, I can definitely see similarity to that for myself. And I might own that phrase that people, label that people give me a little bit more now, because I definitely see that, and I see that in you. You're absolutely a survivor.
Thank you. Something that's showing up is the song "The Eye of the Tiger" from Rocky. That, to me, is an ability that will bring people to living a life inside and out that is completely full.
Yep.
It is the eye of the tiger. I listen to that song before I perform. I jam to it in my car when I know that I have more in this life than I'm giving myself credit for.
I think your story is amazing, to say the least. And I know we rushed a little bit through it. I would love to spend more time on it, but I think it's important for us to shift now a little bit to talk about your coaching career briefly, because I know that's going to be playing into this podcast and this show and the types of people you're bringing on. And really, I want to hear about your purpose and your message to your audience, and why the heck we're even sitting on these microphones right now. So I know that you had gone out, gotten certification, you became a life coach. Is that the right name, label?
Okay. It's a professional coach.
Professional coach. Talk to me about, I know why you did it, because I can see it, but talk to me about why you did it. I want to hear you say it, and about how that has evolved into what you're doing today.
Why I chose coaching, again, I was praying on, God, universe, showing me what was next for me, because I knew I was here to make an impact. I knew there was more than just being a Rockette. There was so much more for me to give, to serve, to create in this lifetime. So my first day of coaching, they asked me 2 questions. What's most important to you, and what do you need? And I looked at the woman next to me and I said, I don't even know. And I started tearing up. And I thought, I'm at the time 30 years old, and I don't know what's most important and what I need. And that was a pivotal moment for me to go, I am now wanting to know more about Gina. Who is Gina? What does Gina want? What skills and talents does Gina really have? What does Gina need daily? What is most important to Gina? Because the kick line used to be. And my life started to transform. I started to create a vision. I never had a vision. A vision that included me in it. Versus a vision of do. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. It started to be more about being. Who does Gina want to be? What is her message? What is her purpose? I'm like, purpose? What's purpose?
Yeah.
And that led me on this self-transformational journey. So as I was getting certified in coaching, I was learning about Gina Pero. Every fiber of Gina Pero. What does Gina think daily? What are thoughts? What are feelings? What are needs? What are values? All of these things that I thought, geez, if I had this 10 years ago, my life would have been a little bit less hectic and a little bit more fulfilling and a lot of less sitting on the windowsill thinking I'm worthless.
These are a lot of questions that most adults don't ask themselves ever, let alone at 30 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old, 20 years old. Wow. And so you then took these questions, dug in deep, learned about who you were, which obviously brought forth your calling, which I believe is to help others find their way into this path as well. Help others ask themselves these questions and evolve and dig deeper and do all of those things. So are you now in a space to where, I know you've gone all over the world coaching and done all these things, but are you now in a space to where you feel that your growth is in a new way blossoming because you're going in a new direction? Are you kind of settled into a groove to where you're moving and shaking on a daily basis in this way that you saw yourself, this vision 5 years ago? Or is this a daily transformation that you go through?
Daily transformation. Every day I wake up, my thoughts, my body is different. So I have to have a daily regimen that brings me into alignment, mind, body, soul.
Good.
Whatever that is for, every individual will be different. What it is for you and me will be completely 100% different. I love growing, and that will never stop. So I will always be growing and evolving and changing. Change is the one thing that remains constant.
And if it doesn't, then you're in trouble.
So every day I am expanding and my vision gets larger, and I'm meeting new people and sharing ideas. And it's this beautiful new vision I have of myself where I don't feel like I have to seek all the time, where it's like I'm now attracting everything that I want. Like everything is showing up on my doorstep, including this show.
Yes.
It including you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just things are now showing themselves because I am filling myself with what I need.
Yep.
I'm taking care of myself. Love thyself first. Whatever it is, whatever statement can work. It's the more I get to know me, the more I learn about me, the more I take care of me, the more life is possible.
That's wonderful. And I'm excited about the fact that this show is being launched and that you are paying all this energy and time and focus that you've done into this and paying it forward in a way, because this is free information you're giving out that I know you get paid to give to people on a daily basis. And I love that this is something that you're doing, because I know it's your passion is you want to reach as many people as possible. You want as many people to hear this message and be inspired and transformed and to feel what you feel daily. I think I don't know what the right word is, but I just think it's amazing to see how you've grown. I've even seen you grow in the last 8 months, 10 months, whatever it is that we've known each other. I've even physically seen you change and grow and evolve, and to see this now come to life and to see that we talked about you doing a show like this, however long ago it was, and to now see it, it happened. I have a microphone in my hand. We're talking. I'm thankful for it. And I'm looking forward to hearing you talk to the amazing rainbow of people that you have in your life and bring those people forth for the public to hear their voice, their story, their reason for living life full out. And I'm excited. I really am. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to see where this goes. Before we move on, I think it's important. So tell me for you to tell me, what do you think this podcast will mean to your audience members? What's your intention? What are your goals? What do you want me to take out of it? Because I'm going to be an active listener.
Yeah. I want to share stories, human stories that can create connection, camaraderie, courage for other people to say, she did it, he did it, I can do it. Every single Monday, people will get a story. Every Wednesday, they'll get teachable moments from that story. And every Friday, they can ask questions. I may even do a coaching with somebody if they want to.
Wonderful.
And my goal is to just share stories, because I know that stories imprint people's souls and hearts. And I know if it wasn't for that girl's story when I was younger in the Dance Spirit magazine, I don't know if I would have said, hey, I can do it too.
Story makes the world go round. Stories, people, love, connection, faith, all of that, I firmly believe makes the world go round. And I think that this show will just help that process. Congratulations on taking this wild and crazy step towards doing something different. I really think it's going to be amazing. I know that you're going to be asking all of your guests couple of main questions throughout their storytelling process and to close out each show. Tell me what does living full life, let me back up. What does living life full out mean to you? Mm-hmm. And then I'll ask you another question.
Okay. So full out is a term you know very well. We use it in dance class. It's like full out and everything else is a mark. Mm-hmm. I don't know who created marking, but when you're marking, you're creating really poor muscle memory. Mm-hmm. We'll get into that another time. However, the term full out was like, oh, we're going for it. We're doing it inside out. This is it. It's big. So living life full out can be possible every single second if we take care of thyself. So for me, living life full out is being, feeling, doing, thinking, saying all the same.
Awesome.
That I am happy on the inside and I am happy on the outside. I am saying that I have a vision. I am doing my vision. I'm acting upon my vision. I'm thinking about my vision. I call it alignment. So for me, living full out is alignment in mind, body, soul.
Awesome. What are some things that I could maybe take, or someone listening to this maybe could take, tools or tips or whatever you want to call them, into their daily life to hopefully attain what you're saying living life full out means to you?
Mm-hmm. One, know what fuels you mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually. Know what fuels you. Mm-hmm. Two, do something for every one of those components every single day.
Okay.
Three, gratitude. In every day, look to see what you have and just thank those people for it, or thank God for it. Just be grateful. And 4, know and understand what faith is for you. And study how you handle every single situation in your life. Wow. Study and observe how you handle upset, how you handle success, mm-hmm. how you handle failure, how you handle a phone call, how you handle pressure, how you handle getting flowers. Mm-hmm. Those would be my 4 things.
That's a pretty fat list. I'm going to rewind this and take notes after we're done. Really powerful stuff, Gina. I'm honored again that you invited me today to talk to you. I know we probably went a little longer than we wanted to, but I really do think it's important for people to understand who you are and who's this chick I'm listening to on this show. It brings you closer to your audience. It really gives them some perspective as to why you are asking these questions and what your purpose behind it is. So thank you for trusting me to do this.
Well, thank you for being such a big component, role model, friend in my daily life. I know when we met, you said, what's most important to you? And I could answer it this time. And I remember saying to you, I want my online presence to match who I am offline.
Yep.
And for so many years, being a performer on stage, it was like on and off the stage, I felt like 2 different people sometimes.
Yep.
And when we met and, we were getting to know each other, and you were, my gosh, doing my branding and helping me create who I was online and using all your expertise, knowledge, experiences to really join me and be a part of my journey, I knew that was, if anything, the most important. So thank you for helping me stay true to who I am on and off the stage.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure. And it's been a learning experience. And I think that, I'm looking forward to learning from you through this show. And I know that the people who decide to listen and stay tuned will be blissfully excited to see the evolution of Gina, because I know it's not done.
Yeah.
And I know that this first season of your show, or these first episodes of your show, are one thing, but I know, and knowing you, that it will evolve over time. So now I'm going to talk to people listening. If you're listening to this show and you're enjoying this conversation with Gina, trust me when I tell you there's an ounce of her that we've left here on this recording. But if you listen further, you'll be able to add more of your knowledge of her, and you won't be regretful of it. She's an amazing individual, and I'm excited that you've decided to listen this far. And I hope that you subscribe and that you take part in this journey that she's going to be taking everyone on, because I can guarantee it's going to be a good one. So good luck with the show.
Thank you, Lacey.
And I guess lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, no lights, no camera. What are we calling this? Record, mic, action? I don't know, but
curtain
on
down.
With the show. Curtain down. On with the show. It's showtime, baby. Good luck.
It's showtime. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Gina Pero Show, living life full out. Life is to be lived full out with feeling. Otherwise, you're marking it. Be who you are and do what you love, full out with feeling. Join us each week as we continue to inspire you with real life stories that create connection to and from the human heart. From me to you. Have a blessed week.